Quanto ganha um dentista nos Estados Unidos?
Quanto que o dentista faz por hora por aqui?
Como se colocar no mercado de trabalho?
Essas e outras importantes perguntas serão respondidas pelo Dr. Chris Funk, que tem mais de 30 anos de experiência na área.
Nós vamos fazer uma entrevista com ele agora. Fica ligado.
Estamos aqui com o Dr. Funk. Ele é um dentista excepcional aqui em Salt Lake. Ele é um dos professores na Dental School e também exerce a profissão há mais de 30 anos em consultório particular. Ele acabou se tornando um grande amigo nosso e ele está hoje aqui para responder algumas perguntas com a grande e larga experiência que ele adquiriu ao longo desses 30 anos de experiência em consultório particular. Dr. Funk, so I introduced you in Portuguese to our colleagues in Brazil. So do you mind if we ask you some questions about finances at the...
Not at all.
Not at all?
It's great to be here with you both.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Dr.
you.
Funk.
Okay, let's get started.
Let's get started.
Okay, Dr. Funk, how could you describe dentistry in the United States related to recognition and respectability?
Dentistry, for as long as I can remember, my father was actually a dentist. Is a very respected profession in the United States. They do surveys here to see which of the professions are most respected, and ever since I was a kid, dentistry has been 1, 2, or 3, maybe as low as 4 in the entire United States, where we've got more respectability than attorneys, we've got more respectability almost even than school teachers.
Wow.
Physicians, doctors, and dentists are always very high
On the
on
top?
the scale.
Since you were a kid?
Yeah, since I
Wow,
was a kid.
that's
Yeah.
amazing.
And you know, I encounter it all the time when people find out, you know, they say, "What do you do?" I say, "I'm a dentist." You can kind of tell that they're impressed.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
great.
And
That's
they
great.
treat you with a lot of respect.
I've been feeling that as well.
Yeah.
So how many hours usually a dentist works in a private practice?
Okay, so most of the dentists I know, including myself, work about 4 days a week, and we work about 8 hours a day. So 32 to 35 hours, I think, is typical. Some dentists work 3 or 3.5 days, which would be more like, you know, 30 to 35. And I know a few dentists that work 5 days.
5 days a week?
Yeah.
Usually 4 days is the most
Yeah.
common, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, do you consider that dentistry is a good profession for international dentists who comes from another country?
I do. I really do. You know, I think that the United States is very welcoming to other peoples and other cultures.
Yeah.
I really think they are. I've noticed that, particularly in the last 20 or 25 years. I know dentists that are from Germany. I know dentists that are from England. Personally, I know dentists that from Brazil.
We
There's
both.
2 wonderful dentists here.
Thank you.
I know dentists from Mexico, and obviously there's quite a few dentists from Canada, and they're all very well respected, and they all make a really good living
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
They are respected,
I think
right?
the opportunities are here.
Yeah.
If you can be a good dentist that cares about his patients, that has compassion for them, that does things the right way, I don't think it matters. People respond to someone who listens to them and who cares
Yeah.
about them,
Yeah.
and who does good quality work.
Work.
And that are competent and knows what they're doing.
And they do pretty well, right?
They do.
They
They
do.
do very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. So let's talk about finances, money. So usually how much money an office produces here in the US and how much are the dentists paid hourly?
Okay, so I would say the average across the United States for producing would be around $600,000 to $700,000 a year. There are some obviously that make less, but there's a lot of practices that make $900,000, $1 million. I just did a calculation. I know a dentist personally in Detroit, Michigan, who makes $1,400 an hour, and I just figured that out on my phone. That is $2.1 million a year if he works 190 days. One single dentist with no associates.
Okay.
So that's kind of the range, and Dr. Bautista and I know a dentist right here in Salt Lake that's making $2 million a year.
Yeah.
He's a specialist. He's a prosthodontist like Pablo, and he's making that per year. So
He basically does prosthodontics and implantology.
mhm,
And he works just 4 days a week.
yeah. So the typical hourly wage, I would say, is between $400 to $1,000 an hour.
Okay.
And that equates to somewhere between about 600, 700,000 a year
Plus.
to a
Mhm.
million, $1.5 million, $2 million.
Wow.
a
That's
year.
pretty different from Brazil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
impressive.
And that's in US dollars, right?
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. And what does a brand new dentist do to start working? What they can do when they just finish graduation and go to
Okay.
the
When they
market?
get their license, in
Yeah.
our case.
Yeah.
Right. You've come from Brazil. You've
Validate.
you validated or revalidated your license. There's really, I guess, 4 options. I know a lot of foreign people who come from other countries that work in dental schools, and that's a very good living,
Yeah.
and it's wonderful. I teach at a dental school 1 day a week, and I absolutely love it. In fact, that's where I got to know the Bautistas. The second way would be to just put your name on the door and say, I'm open for
Yeah.
business.
Start from the scratch,
And
right?
just start from scratch. And honestly, that probably takes about 4 to 5 years to get up to the point where you're making a pretty good living for
Mhm.
yourself.
Pretty good money.
It's tough.
It takes a while.
It's tougher. And some places are probably better than others.
Yeah.
Here in Salt Lake, the market that I'm familiar with, it's tough. It takes a good 5 years at least
Yeah.
to get established. Another way that most of the dental school graduates are doing, and I would think it would be a good thing for
Internationals.
people who are coming from other countries, would be to work as an associate, to find a practice that has room for an associate and work for a dentist. But I would look for a practice that has the option of buying into it, so that after 2 or 3 years, you can start to buy into the practice and become a full partner.
You can
after
be the owner,
5
right?
Yeah, after 5 to 10 years, something
Yeah.
like that. And then the third way is to find somebody that's retiring. Now I'm getting close to retiring, and I'm going to, I've actually had my office appraised of the value of it, and I'm going to sell the office, or I'm going to sell the practice. And that's an excellent way. It requires some money. Most practices probably sell between $200,000 up to maybe $1 million that you'd pay for a dental practice.
And where do we get the money to purchase it? Because in Brazil works differently. In Brazil, usually you get the money out of the pocket, but here usually it works with the banks, right?
Yeah. If you're buying a practice that has been appraised, you can take that appraisal into the banker, and the banks are happy to loan money to dentists because they know they'll make the money back.
In how many years?
Usually 5 years.
5 years?
Usually 5 to 10 years at the very most, you'd have that practice paid off.
Paid off.
Yeah.
You paid off the practice and also make your salary, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You'd make a salary along the way for sure. But it would be a monthly payment, kind of like buying a house.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Let me ask you something, just a curiosity for Brazilian, they don't know how it works. When someone buy a practice from another doctor, it comes with all of the patients. Is that
All the
common?
patients,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
they don't mind, right?
No.
The
No.
patients?
Actually, it works really well. The patients are surprisingly loyal to the practice more so than the individual that owned the practice, because their records are there, and they say it the average is about 70 to 80% of the patients that you'll
They stay.
retain.
It stays
Yeah.
there.
And in addition to buying the patients, you're also buying all of the equipment and all of the instruments and everything that you need to actually practice dentistry.
So you start making money from the day one, right?
Right.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
One last question.
Okay.
So what would you tell to the Brazilian dentists that are willing to come to US and revalidate, like we did?
Yeah, I would just say that just come and find an area of the United States that you love, and find a practice that you can buy or associate with, and when you start practicing dentistry, as I mentioned earlier, just do your very best, be an honest, competent, caring dentist, and I really feel like any of you can be a success here if you do those things.
Those things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So something that I notice here, when you're competent, when you do a good job, you are recognized. So people look at you differently.
Yeah.
They do.
It
They
really
do.
matters.
And they
look-
refer their friends.
It's really quick, right?
It is.
It's much quicker than Brazil. Brazil take
Is that true?
little by little. Even
Okay.
in our among our colleagues, it takes a while to build that. Here they recognize right away.
Yeah.
It's super fast.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
Great. So thank you so much, Dr. Funk, for
You're
being
welcome.
here with us.
It's good to be with you all.
Thank you for being here and talking to our audience, Brazilian audience.
Our colleagues.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank
Have a
you.
great day.
You too.
Esperamos que você tenha gostado dessa entrevista.
Esperamos que o conteúdo tenha sido valioso para você.
E fica ligado que a gente ainda vai falar sobre muitas coisas importantes.
Como Green Card,
Como se virar com a língua inglesa
escola para as crianças.
e muito mais.
Esperamos você no próximo vídeo.